Hi there, I'm Terry Coles, Portugal correspondent for International Living. Guess what? I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my husband Clyde and I have been retired now for 10 years, and I'm not even retirement age yet. How did we manage to pull this off, you wonder? By moving out of the United States. Not only did we retire much earlier than our friends who are still working back in the United States, but we have had awesome travel experiences around the globe, and now we actually live in Europe. It's been truly unbelievable what we've managed to accomplish in the past 10 years. Especially since neither Clyde nor I had ever traveled abroad before. Crazy as that seems. To some people, our lives are what dreams are made of, yet to us, it's reality. And we're not alone. There are many others who have already taken the plunge into expat life abroad, and so can you. I was just 50 years old when my husband Clyde started talking about retiring early. As a career firefighter and paramedic in Corpus Christi, Texas, Clyde loved his job, but also knew that running into burning buildings was not something that an old man should be doing. I don't know if anyone should be doing, but somebody has to. Clyde had always dreamed of retiring at age 57, but with an ex-wife receiving a big chunk of his pension and the high cost of U.S. health care once he stopped working, how could we manage to survive? By the way, if he had kept the same health insurance coverage that he had after he retired, that he had during his working days, our cost would have been a whopping $1,400 per month. And that was 10 years ago. So instead, we decided to move abroad to find a more affordable, healthier way of life somewhere that had top-notch health care, which was affordable, and plenty to do. Turns out that we're not the only ones that have opted out of the U.S. There are millions of us around the world. So, how did we do it? First, we needed to decide where we wanted to move. Thankfully, there are publications like International Living and people like me that offer many suggestions on various countries around the world. And we'll tell you what each country has to offer. Second, we had to free ourselves of all the stuff that weighed us down. We all have an abundance of stuff that we've collected for years. Excess clothes, shoes, keepsakes, and other junk that not only take up space in our homes, but also in our heads. Third, we had to make a plan of action, which would include paying off our debts, selling our home, cars, and other large items. It was 2011 when Clyde and I said adios to the working world and started a new life in Panama. We rented a house for just $300 a month, could see an English-speaking doctor for $25 or less, paying out of pocket, and made tons of friends. Later, we bought a huge 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on an acre of land for just $90,000. We painted and remodeled every square inch of that house ourselves and sold it 4 years later for more than twice what we had paid for it. We left Panama with just 2 carry-on size suitcases each. Talk about unloading stuff, eh? Life in Panama was wonderful. For around $2,000 a month, we lived comfortably and we were perfectly happy until that one day, I convinced Clyde that we needed to take a trip to Europe. I had always longed to see Paris, Rome, Venice, Barcelona, and other places. We spent 1 month trekking through Europe, visiting 6 different countries along the way. We fell in love with Europe and decided it was time to move on and live somewhere else. But where? Then someone suggested that we try house and pet sitting internationally as a way to travel and explore the world. So for the next 2 years, we lived rent-free in other people's homes, taking care of their pets and their house. In those 2 years, we lived in or visited Thailand, Cambodia, Israel, Hong Kong, India, Kenya, Egypt, all of the UK, many countries in Europe, and more. It was from a house sit here in Portugal that we explored the country and fell in love with the people, the culture, and the beauty of this tiny country that we now love to call home. Our lives in Portugal began on the Silver Coast, where we enjoyed life for 2 years, and now we live in the southern region called the Algarve. Don't you think it's time you stop working now and enjoy life like we did? If you're intrigued by the ideas I've been talking about here, then you should know that I and the rest of the International Living team have put together a whole library of resources about Portugal and other good options in Europe. For starters, I recommend you click here below to request a free report on Portugal.